Hello, Kim.
Hi, Danny.
How are you?
Very well. We haven't met like this in a long time.
No, we haven't.
And
We
it's
need to
been
meet
great.
more like this.
I know, I know, I know. It's been a while, so I love doing these with you, though.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
yeah.
What are we talking
So,
about? What are we talking about, Danny?
you know, here's what I've been sensing, and a lot from the people who are coming up and asking for readings, and then the readings I've been doing is this huge energy shift that we're going through. Um, People want to know, what is it? Why is it? Why am I so tired? Why am I so cranky? Why am I so have this feeling that I'm not fitting in quite yet? I'm a little lost. It's not just one person, but it's a number of people going through that. And I'm so thankful it's not me, because I'm so energetic. I'm so clear focused on what I want to do. So I thought, who better to ask than you?
Oh, yeah, and I'm so focused as well. But I think that first of all, I am a transition specialist, and we are going through transitions.
Mm.
And my
What does
background
that
being
mean? What does that mean, a transitional specialist?
Well, I feel like when we go from our body to spirit, that's a transition,
Oh, yes,
and
yes,
I've done that for 27 years at the bedside and people dying, But
correct.
I think that also relates to transitions in our life. It's not just leaving physical to spirit, but as we go through the different phases, and I know that we had some big phases, not just individual, but globally in the last at least 5 years. And then I mean, if you look back on the time, was it 89, then 2000, 2021. I mean, everything are these little markers of,
Right.
and we're all going like, whoa, what was that? Oh, we thought it was going to be Y2K, right? Or we thought it was going to be, then there was the pandemic. And like, maybe we haven't quite caught up with all the things that have happened globally and individually, and like, how do we move forward, because we might be carrying some of this stuff with us.
Yeah, we might be.
Well, we are, but how do we go forward? I mean, because we do need to let that go so that we could go truly in the light. uh,
Yeah.
and if we can focus on that light, then I think it's much easier to go
Hmm.
forward. But how do you get rid of some of the things? But if maybe perhaps if we can expand our light so much, that's going to push all that back, and those will be irrelevant. Do you see? Because when we
Oh,
see
interesting. Yeah.
forward so brightly, then everything else is going to get smaller
Okay.
as our
So,
spirit expands. Yeah.
do you think a couple of things that popped into my mind there? Um, One was, since the Mayan calendar ended, that means because I was using that calendar and I'm just like floating around, not knowing what day it is, time it is, or anything like this. My calendar, and so that affects me. But what you said there about, if we shine our light so bright that whatever uh, darkness there is, whatever that may be, a past guilt, a past attachment, whatever, gets smaller. But does that mean that we're not acknowledging the past, and we're
Mm. Oh,
does that
maybe, Danny, I might do that. I think I might sometimes gloss over those things and just move
yeah.
forward. But I also, I think, as we are going from what people say 3D, 4D, 5D, I mean, I don't really think the universe has those kind of, it's just our human that's put these numbers on it. But
Yes.
as we move through these, it is an opportunity, especially as we're moving from into that 4D to 5D realm, the opportunity to let go of the karma, let go of the past, let go. But I know we still hold some of this stuff in our body, even though mentally, in a mental level, we can let go, perhaps.
Yes.
But it can still be attached to different places. So some people are going to hold it mentally, and some people are going to hold it in their body. Our soul, though, is fine.
Yeah.
Our soul light. So if we can connect to that soul light, and that's fine, then we're fine.
Right.
It's a trust into that light.
Yeah.
But what I notice is that there's a lot of help. Now, maybe it's just people that are attracted to me, like you attract a certain group of people.
Yeah.
That come to me, many health issues. And, for healers, I mean, these are magnificent healers that are having health issues. I am seeing that. And that's difficult even for me, and I'm working in a healing capacity, hoping for miracles. And yet miracles aren't always happening. And I know they are too. So that's hard, waiting for miracles to happen. And when will it happen?
What's the form? So, not to interrupt, but to interrupt, what's the formula for a miracle to happen?
Yeah. Okay. Very good. I think being in the love, honestly, to me, it's expanding into the love as much as possible. It's almost like having a near-death experience. If we can move our consciousness into that, what be like a near-death experience as much as possible, there's opportunities for healing, total healing. But sometimes healing on a human level, and if we can't get there, then on this human level, it can be knowing that everything is okay on a soul level, even though our physical level isn't. So that could be a miracle in itself. Sometimes dying is a miracle as well. You think, well, how come somebody died? On my watch, right? I'm doing a healing circle and somebody died. And I'm thinking, well, I don't want to, I can't be responsible for that. But what we can do, and if this happens to anybody, this is going to, because people are dying. I mean, this is a natural part of living, is that we move from a physical to a spiritual. Well, but we can help them be as comfortable in that transition as possible.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And that's
and I think too, what you were saying about the formula for miracles is, is being that love, and that the stronger you're in that amazing power of love, but it's also the recipient. If they're not in that love 100%, then I think maybe the miracle isn't going to work as fast, or because they may have some doubt, they may have some anger issues. And so maybe it's a trust, it's a belief that the miracle is going to happen, that I don't know, I don't know if there is a formula.
Maybe not.
I've scoured books and I haven't found it yet, but I think what you just said is part of it. Is you should put it in a book.
Well, it's that knowing our soul is always okay.
Yes.
Okay, and then that's really the miracle. And if we can just find that place in our heart, which is in the heart. Yeah. But you mentioned something there that I thought would be good to revisit, how the belief system is of the recipient. I do think that's important, but it's not just belief system, but it's also, there's also a lot, their soul is the manager of their human.
Right.
And so they may have already said, hey, you're going to go down and you're going to have this problem, whatever it is, that this is what's going to happen. And if you change it, well, then then that wouldn't be the miracle is to live through it. Live with it. See, that could be the miracle. And to overcome the feeling, or overcome the adversity, to live through that.
Yeah.
So we don't know. We just don't know.
Right.
It's complicated.
Yes, it is. And we make it more so.
Yes. So if we can just, whew. And I was talking to a man today as he was walking, he was riding his bike. I'm walking my dog. And he said, well, my dog, he has a little tiny poodle that's only like 10 pounds, has lost 3 pounds, and now only 7 pounds or 6.5 pounds now. And this poodle cannot really walk by herself now or anything. And this has been going on for a year and a half. They have to lift her up and all this. And he says, but my wife won't let her go.
Oh,
And he's kind of, he's sort of ready. So we had the whole thing about letting go. How do you let go of somebody? It could be a dog, a person, an idea about yourself, an idea about, but I said, okay, you look at the pain, and who you keeping the dog here for? Your wife or for the dog?
yeah.
You know, and obviously the dog's in pain
Mm.
despite pain medicine. So he said, I feel I'm resolved now, So we had this, pretty long conversation. But I think sometimes this is all over everywhere. And with all these changes, rapid, I think this was happening. We're doing it rapidly.
Yes.
Everything is speeding up. Our
Yeah.
our soul growth, our spiritual growth, our spiritual growth. So, we are just spirit pretending to be a human. And this is why we're here to develop.
Well, okay, wait a minute. Let me take some offense. I'm not pretending to be human. Look, I'm pinching myself and, oh, I don't feel anything. Maybe I am a dream. Um, so yeah, and the thing too that I get with this speediness,
Yes.
it's like, when I do a reading, the Eight of Wands, it's like I have a tarot deck and 90% of the deck is all Eight of Wands. It's all fast, fast, fast. And I go, I can't keep pulling the Eight of Wands, but things are happening so fast all the time.
Yes. Yes.
And it's there's some astrologers out there that talk about us going through different energy fields. The planets are all going direct, and so there's no retrograde planets, that as you said, we're pretending here. Well, retrograde planets, I think, I'm not an astrologer, but I think it's like they pretend to go backwards to
Oh.
us, so they're really not going backwards. It just seems like they are from our perspective.
Mm-hmm.
And so all the planets are going forward. Everything's going in a forward direction, which makes things go faster and faster. And we're getting into this thin this thin veil, it seems like, where we can access our spiritual selves a lot easier and faster.
Yes.
With and I think that that that's a difficult place for many to embrace, because we're still hanging on to the pretendness of being human. I love that term. I'm going to be stealing it all the time. So yeah, we're still hanging on to like the old ways and not wanting to give up, and yet we're moving so fast. It's kind of scary. It's dizzying. It requires a lot of naps. I'm going to take one after we do this too, by the way. I couldn't wake up yesterday. I was so tired. I took a nap. I got 15 minutes. I'm going to shut my eyes for 15 minutes. An hour and a half later, I'm like, you got to get out of bed.
Yeah. I've had some things like that too. Well, you talked about the veil thinning, and I always question that veil thing. I feel, I'm going to put this out here to you. What do you think about this, Danny? The matrix, we're moving away from the matrix that we've been in, and opening to a new world. And so it may, people can call it a veil, or maybe we're just moving out of the matrix. And so that's why so many people are waking up. I know they're just out of the matrix. And so the reality is there, that they realize they are an expansive soul being, and that they've been kind of cloaked and
Yeah.
had
Yeah.
something over their head, but now, no, you know?
Yeah. So I was the matrix term to me is a little challenging, that
Okay.
concept, because to see some kid drinking monster drinks on a computer going, because that's kind of what I think of it. It's like, oh, somebody's just making this up.
Oh.
And so when I hear the word matrix, it takes me to a place that I go, I don't know if I like that feeling of it. And it's just a label. So
Yeah.
it's just it's, well, God has a plan. Well, this kid made a matrix. So plan,
Oh.
matrix, it
Oh.
depends on how you wrap that in.
Yeah.
So I think, but I do think that there's a reality that we get to adjust and change.
Yes. Uh-huh.
So just
Yes.
like
Right.
the
There you go.
matrix,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And with our thoughts, with our actions, with our vibrations, we get to change the world.
Yep.
We get to change the matrix, the plan, whatever. And yeah, I think that we do have a hard time with the change, with the
Yeah.
matrix, with the plan, with whatever it is.
Not everybody, though. I mean, I will say some people have already stepped over. You know what I mean?
Sure.
In my mind, as we're talking, I have this vision of a human stepping over. It looks like about maybe a 3-foot fence or something, and they're
Yeah.
going from one reality to the next reality. And so the first reality is kind of what the history of Earth has been, kind of, yeah,
Right.
actually a little dark, a little bit dark. You step into the next reality, it's lighter and more harmonious and more peaceful. And so this is where we are. Some people are still in that side, one side, and some people have
Yeah.
already moved over. To me, it's
Yeah.
like stepping across, and then when you step into that light or whatever to the other side of the fence, then like, oh yeah, okay, now I can remember who I am.
Yeah. 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 And I think, for me, one of my struggles is just stepping into my own power.
Yes.
Right. So I look at that 3-foot fence and I go, ooh, there's a fence there. And I remember our little dog. We have this little fence, and it's made out of wire, and then we put a bunch of branches all over it, so it looks real naturally. And it's only like that high,
Uh-huh.
but the dog would look at it and go, "I can't cross over that."
Yeah.
Clearly, the dog could have, but and I feel like sometimes with me, it's the same way. I look at that fence and I go, "Ooh, that's big." That's and it isn't, So,
Right. Right.
um, the, and yes, so some people are going to be really stuck
Yeah.
in that old matrix, the old reality, and then other people are going to find it's pretty easy to cross over into
Yeah.
that. And
Yeah.
it goes back to that light thing. It goes back to the miracle of staying in love.
Yeah. 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 Now, that's a great point. All that. Some people are going to be more hesitant to cross, but this is why you and me and our friends here on YouTube, we help others cross that bridge,
Mhm.
that fence.
Yeah.
And this is
Yeah.
how we change the world. I mean,
Right.
I believe because, if we are here in service, which I believe we are,
Yes.
It doesn't
Yes.
either you serve yourself or you serve others, I guess. We're
Right.
the other. um,
Yeah.
and so this is how we can kind of support those who want. Now, some people don't want to cross the fence. That's fine. They don't have to.
Yeah. And some people just want to know, oh, there's other people crossing the fence. Right? So it's like, I'll, well, if you're going to go, I'll do it too. You
Right.
know, well,
Right.
let's have a party on the other side.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. So,
Yes, yes, yes. I mean, I think the community thing is important. I notice that community is really um, especially important right now with all the changes. This is one way we can get over the letting, easy. It makes it easier to let go and get
yeah.
through the grief process. Because there's grief of change. Now, even if it's a change of jobs, a change of the old ways, the good old days in 1950s, or whatever, or
And
1980s.
weren't those the good old days, the 1950s? Oh man, everybody knew their role. They knew their place.
Yep, and they always look
Cars had big fins on them. Look like spaceships.
right, right. That's awesome though. We could talk about that a little bit if you want. But anyway, to finish as far as the grief, we have to remember there are stages of grief, right? Denial, anger, acceptance. Let's see, what are the other ones? I don't know. There's like five. I mean, what's quoted, to be five. But so just know that whenever we leave one avenue going to the next or crossing the fence or whatever you want to call it, one matrix to the next, one world to the next world, there is going to be something about letting go. And
Yeah.
it's nothing. Maybe it's a tiny little thing. And we can just wash it away. Maybe you get your selenite sword and you just like, oh yeah, there you go. That's gone. But
And what happens if you don't have a selenite
then you
sword?
just, use your hands. You make energy in your hands, and then you use your hands or whatever. Or maybe it's in the heart. A lot of times we hold it in the heart.
Yeah.
That's where you get a little crystal, a little apophyllite
Well, how
here.
about one of these?
Oh wow, that's beautiful. What is that?
That's a Nancy Jean crystal.
Ah, did she make that?
She's had it made, and this is a heart uh, uh, healing crystal.
Oh my goodness.
And so it's got a little Merkaba thing to it. And don't ask me what the stones are. They're pretty green ones with a big white one in the center. Yeah, they're really cool. I don't know if she's making them anymore.
Oh.
So she's probably going to be really upset. Let me give you her phone number. It's no.
Right. But yeah, you could use any little selenite or apophyllite, that makes it go a little faster with the heart. Yeah, and even just with intention, to work on that heart, letting go. But embracing the new, that's the part. You got to embrace the new, because if you're not embracing the new, you're going to stay stuck.
Yeah. And I had something so important. It was going to change the world, and I forgot it. Dang it.
About embracing and letting go,
Something.
Embracing.
It'll come up again.
Yes.
Because the world needs to be changed. So I will remember it.
Oh yeah, the world will. Yes, and I know we're doing a good job. And there was something. Oh my gosh, what was the next thing I just popped up about the next little thingy. The next little thingy.
It's going to change the world. That next little thingy, it's just a little tweak. And I feel too with this, with these energies that we're going through. And I feel like it is a tweak. It's not like this huge step. It's a little teeny fence. It's not a big, unsurmountable. You just pick up your leg and walk over it. It's one, one of the things that I was getting yesterday was when I was thinking about this was it's just you put one foot on the path. And how does that feel? And then, well, put the other foot in front of it and then the other. And so you're just picking up one foot, putting it down. And the next thing you know, you're halfway into the path or, 20 feet into the path.
Yeah.
And so you might as well keep going forward instead of turning around, just keep walking. So, yeah, because I think, well, where is this leading me? Where am I going in this process? And I think it's, well, put a foot on the path and find out,
Yeah.
see where it is.
Some people don't know where the paths are.
Yeah.
And this is why we need each other to kind of like, okay, like learning to walk again in a way, kind of.
Yeah. Yeah.
Especially after we've stumbled, especially after we've had health issues or relationship issues or job issues or those sorts of things.
Yeah.
Didn't turn out quite as we were expecting.
You're right.
So that's why we need each other for this.
And then the path gets because one of my cards I have says there are many paths, and which is true. So just get on the path and go. But for me, it's staying in the light, staying in the love, staying in the bright light of the path. And if you find yourself thinking dark things, that needs to be resolved. And you can't stay on that path because it's going to take you down the trickster energy way. So you got to be and that, and again, that's where we come in to help people, see the path that they may be on.
Yeah. And I, as a soul being, as a human who's really a soul being, the whole goal, honestly, is to just to stay in the light as much as possible.
Yeah.
And so many people ask me, well, what do I need to do? What do I need to do? I would get that a lot. You probably do too.
Yeah.
But it's a feeling of you've already done so much. Now it's just to hold the light and it's like holding space.
Yeah.
And it's like enough. Like that's enough to do.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And wow, that's so powerful what you said, because in my mind, there's a lot of times I go, oh, I need to be doing something. I need to be, I need to get a screwdriver and fix it. But you don't. In this work, holding space and just being in the love, in the intelligence, in the whatever you want to call it. For me, it's the quiet time. It's the nature time. It's the interconnectedness of everything time. Just being in there and being aware of all that connectedness is holding space, and it's hugely powerful in healing.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
Sometimes that's all people need, just to be heard.
But what if they are not able to be in that space, and they look at things from a disjointed perspective, and they don't look at everything being connected. They look at it's me against the world now. It's me against somebody else, or it's
well, yeah. I think in that situation, this is why if they can reach out to somebody, and that person can reflect to them the light that they are. When they can hear what their soul's mission is, then perhaps they can connect to that and open up to a new possibility. That's one thing.
Yeah.
I mean, of course, there are some things that need medication, right? I mean, depression perhaps, or bipolar. I mean, there's lots of things like that. Pain even, right? Because if people are in pain, you can't see past that.
Yeah.
That ruins your world. That's your worldview, is like pain. Okay.
Yeah. Right. Right.
So, I again, having somebody to reflect to you your soul light. If they can't see it themselves, they can go to somebody and see it.
Yeah.
This morning, I had, we did a color practice, and it was magical. Truly, truly, everyone, we were like, at the end, we were going, I always just love the color classes anyway,
Yeah.
but we were going, everybody was blown away by each other, by each other holding the light for each other.
Yes.
And that's
Yeah.
what we worked on. We worked on seeing each other's souls
Yes.
and the colors of their soul. And so when we have somebody reflecting that, and you're thinking, oh my God, but I'm just a human. I think I'm just a human, and I'm really tired of my job. Yet somebody's telling me I'm this wonderful soul light. You see, it just is uplifting, because
Right.
that's true self.
Yeah. Yeah. And the thing with that too is, which is why I like the classes, and it's not so much for me to learn anything, although I do, but it's it's confirmation, it's
Mhm.
synchronicities
Yeah.
that keep showing up. And so after a while, you have to stop ignoring, all of the synchronicities that keep coming, the messages that keep coming
Yeah.
over and over again.
Magic.
And it is all about staying in that power, staying in the space, and it, just being open to it. It's
Yeah.
we're so used to being closed off
Yes.
and
Yes.
not opening up to spirit.
Yeah. Or I also feel like we're not confident that whatever we're doing is doing anything. Like people say, well, I meditate, but that's not doing anything. Or like that was a bad meditation. Or, I'm just sitting there and I can't meditate. They'll say, I hear this a lot. I can't meditate. I don't have a mind to meditate. Well, there's
Yeah.
so many ways, because that is a really good way to connect to spirit. Not that I'm a perfect meditator by any means, not
Right.
by any means. But as an example, there's a couple things I can think of with that. One, I used to at some points would use the binaural beats,
Yeah.
listen to something about some angelic frequency. I don't even remember what it was called. I might have even been a Mother Mary thing. I don't remember now. But anyway, it was a more angelic. And then I think, well, this isn't doing anything. Well, then I would be working with somebody on a one-to-one as a colleague or something. And they say, wow, you're really sitting with the angels today or something. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it always does work. And even this morning, I got up yesterday and today too early. That's why I'm kind of like a little drowsy. I like at 4 o'clock. I don't know. And so by the time I did get around to meditating, and with my intention, I was pushing myself to another dimension. I was working on my way toward another out, outside of this reality,
Right.
what we think of in this matrix, or whatever you want to call it, this side of the fence. I'm working my way off the fence, over the fence. And so then I was in the color class. I was partnered up with somebody who's quite expansive herself. Um, she was telling me, well, I see you've gone to another universe. And I'm like, did I really? So that was like a little bit of a confirmation. You see what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
So even though I think I'm not doing it, and then I get confirmation, whoa, I was.
Did.
You see,
Yeah.
and that's
Yeah.
why I guess the point is, when we work with somebody, whether it's in a class or a friend or whatever,
Yeah.
then this is what's helping reconcile all of our patterns into more of a light pattern.
Yes. Yeah. I agree. 100%. Yeah. And there's different, when people were talking about meditating, there's different forms of meditating. Like I use the shamanic journey, and then recently it's just been a journey. No no tools. Sometimes I'll listen to those 10-hour YouTube music things that go, and I go, oh, that's really good, and then I'm asleep. But some will have a drum beat that throws me off, and it doesn't work. So it's important to not just say, oh, I can't meditate, but it's to find the right meditation method to get you in there.
Right.
And just zoning out, looking at the ocean waves.
Right.
And being aware of and letting some thoughts come in. And they could be laundry list thoughts, and you go, oh yeah, well, I'm not doing the laundry right now, so I'll put that aside, and then wait for another thought to come in, and ooh, that was a different voice that I heard. That's not a laundry list voice, that's somebody different. And
you're
so
hearing voices?
Yes, sometimes.
Oh, okay. We'll talk about that later now. Just joking.
I may need a session or drugs.
I think I have a whole line of references for you. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Well, now are the voices in your head or outside of your head?
Oh, yeah. They are, no, they're inside my head.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm very clairaudient. Yeah.
Nice.
So even when I'm throwing cards, I'll hear messages.
I see. Okay.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Huh. You mentioned the water, just standing and looking at the water. And I think that this is one way we could use to release some of the old stuff. Sitting in the water, bathtub, ocean, rivers, lakes, right? Just to allow the water to cleanse away with intention, because I think there's an intention thing here.
Yeah. Yeah. And the intent, yeah, for me, the intention is key. Is key.
Yeah.
Not that you have to have a mantra of your intention while you're getting into meditation, although you could. I don't do that, but I sit when I'm a good meditator.
Yeah.
I will have an intention and set the intention, and then I do my best to just forget about it.
Oh yeah, very good.
And see what happens, see what comes up.
Nice. Yeah.
And always a journal.
A journal. That's a great idea.
Because right after the meditation, you're in that fuzzy little in-between space, and you have functionality of your body, but you're still out there. Then you write those messages, because you'll forget it. For me,
oh yeah,
they're just gone.
Sure, like a dream.
Yeah. But I like, but if you're sitting in the ocean with the waves lapping up against you, you're not going to really be able to write
That's good. Wait till you get
but I love that image of, and I find this works for me. If I'm not by the ocean, and if I'm not in the ocean, and if I'm sitting in my home and I imagine walking down to the ocean on the sand, feeling the sand on my feet, the warmth that, maybe there's a little sticker thing, and you go, oh yeah, that kind of poked my foot a little bit, a seashell or something. And then I get into it, and I imagine the waves coming in and washing away some of the doubts, some of the pains, some of the uncertainties, grief, whatever. And just imagine that going back and then being filled up again. Well, my image is being filled up by all the little elementals that live in the ocean, the bioluminescence. And it's all love, because if you take something out of grief, now you got a hole where the grief is. And so you got to fill it with something. So I fill it with a little octopus or a little elemental, a little bit of intelligence or love or something. But yeah. And I love that image, and I use that a lot. Well, because I'm an ocean. That's my domain.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, I'm comfortable in it. Yeah.
Yeah. So imagine your soul is really an ocean soul.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh-huh. Well, interesting. I love that idea of the water, and then you let it go, but then you fill it up. Because even if you don't fill it up with little creatures, luminescent light beings, which we are, we can be luminescent light beings too, all of us, all 100% of us. But you can also just use a color.
Yeah.
Fill it with a beautiful color.
Yes, absolutely. And when I even say that, and I was kind of putting myself in that place, it was a color that I was putting in. What color octopus? And I joke a little bit with the octopus energy, but not really. Some people may not like it, but with the octopus, they change colors so readily that they'll change to the color that needs to be in there. So you don't even have to let me put green in there. Well, put the octopus in there and see what color they change.
Yeah, like a lizard maybe too.
No.
Oh, okay.
No, faster. Oh, how? Sorry, trigger finger. They change in a second. They go from one color to another.
Okay, I didn't realize that.
It's bad. The first time I saw it, I was blown away, because they're such chameleons that I saw this one octopus, and it was on a coral wall, and this was at night. And as it was walking, I think that's what you call it, up the coral wall, and it was trying to get away from the light that I was blinding it with. Anyway, it would change to the background of the colors. So half of it would be orange, the other half would be blue, gray, brown, and it would just change so fast.
Yeah.
Amazing. I'm sure there's things on YouTube about it that you can see the colors change.
Wow. It makes me wonder about our ET friends, our star being sisters and brothers, because we always think of blues or greens. What about reds and purples and blacks and yellows? Of course, they're going to be all colors.
Sure.
And I wonder if they can change. Well, even octopus must be kind of a star being in a way.
I think so.
Yeah, I do too.
So just so intelligent, and just phenomenal in what they can do. So they don't have a backbone. You know how everybody, my dad and everybody says, "Damn it, son, get a backbone." Right? Grow a spine. Well, octopus, they don't have it, and they're way smarter than you. And they can move in other places that you can't get into. So maybe I don't want to grow a spine. Maybe I want to be like an octopus.
Maybe have a few more arms.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing.
They have brains in their fingertips.
They do.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So they're pretty amazing.
Wow. Oh my gosh. I didn't know
So,
that. Maybe I knew that at one point, but I forgot it.
yeah, and I
Uh,
hope I'm right. Otherwise, we're going to hear a lot of it.
well, I
That
always think that
oh,
we have brains at our fingertips too, in a certain way.
we do.
Well, that, you know, when you touch things,
Yeah,
oh, clairtangency is called the clairs of the touch,
yeah,
clairtangency, and you can read with your fingers.
yes.
So,
One of the
an
first
example.
exercises that I did was photometry.
Yeah,
I
psychometry.
think
Yeah,
I think that's the name of it, psychometry.
yeah,
So I took a photograph, put it in my hands, and I read the photograph without looking at it.
yeah.
And so that's kind of that same thing, right? Because you're touching it and you're seeing what you're touching.
Yeah.
I
Hmm.
don't know.
Right, right.
But
Uh-huh.
yeah, I do think that, and we can touch something and know something about it, feel, yeah,
Yeah. And we can, we can expand on that and make it stronger for us too.
sure. All you got to do is just walk over the fence.
That's right. Walk over that little fence. It's just a little fence.
It's just a little
And
fence.
it's
Just
not
walk over.
scary. It's not scary at all.
No, no. But some people, they don't lift their legs up high enough and they
Yeah.
get hooked. They get their butt hooked on a nail.
Or maybe their dress got torn going
Yeah,
over it, I know. But change is scary, and but this is why we are here to support people for change, to help.
yeah.
Because it's
And I'm
yeah,
just going to add this
yeah.
because as I go through this scary change, they are there to help us go through this.
Yeah.
I feel whenever I feel most of, if not all of whatever I'm teaching, like my journey sessions, I get more out of it than they realize. I get so much out of it.
Uh-huh.
So, we're all in support of each other. Um,
Mhm.
and there is no, we're all helping each other. We're
Right.
all helping each other, no matter what level. You go, I can't, I'm the guy way over on the other side of the fence. You're not, I'm not where you are, but you, you still help everybody. So,
Everybody has a unique purpose. It's
yeah,
all in our soul design.
yeah,
You're right.
yeah.
Kind of fun. Kind of fun. We got to look at it as fun and light.
Yes, yes,
Love and
yes.
light, as they say, love and light, love and light.
Love and light.
Peace, love and light.
All right. Where else should we go, Kim?
Oh, I don't know. Let's try to do this again soon. Well,
Okay.
and not wait a whole year. Maybe in a few months or a couple
In
months
a
or
few
a month.
months. Yeah.
Well, because things are speeding up, so we'll see. Maybe a month.
Unbelievable how fast things are going for me. I mean, it's just like I got to get my taxes ready.
Your taxes?
Well, yeah, because it's going to be the end of the year before I
Oh.
know. So whenever I get done with my taxes, I'm going, oh my gosh, I don't have to do them again for another year, and it always seems like it's so long. And the last couple of years, it's like I gotta do them again. It's like anyway,
Yeah. Yeah, I know what you mean.
yeah,
Well, I don't know. I just see, do I have anything positive? You see my beautiful flowers?
I do see.
Yes. So I can't claim to have grown them, but I still enjoy them.
Yes.
Yes, yes, yes. And I don't know if I have anything extra special here to show you, except I will show you. I will end with this. This is a apophyllite grouping.
Ooh.
And I got this at an afterlife conference. And it was calling to me from the other side of the room. And the lady that sold it to me said, nobody else was called like that. And it was obvious that this was starting to vibrate in my hand even when I picked it up. And
Okay. So wait a minute. When it called to you, was that
yes,
inside of your head or the outside?
No, it was in my heart. I felt it,
Ah,
it was in my heart, and I just got this pull. Oh, look at that lonely crystal over there. That's no, and it just was brighter than everything else. And so that's how what I do. I look what lights up, because I'm very visual. So it's
yeah,
like what lights up. Like if I have to make a decision, I'll write down the options, 1, 2, 3, or whatever, and I look at it and say, oh, the one that's more in the light when I see it, then that's
yeah,
the one. You see,
yeah. Well, you just gave me a good visual
I did
that we can end with. Yeah.
what?
Well, you heard it with your heart, so I just see a great big old ear in your heart. Oh my gosh. Well, Kim, thank you so much. This has
Thank
been
you, Danny.
awesome. I love talking with you about all
Yeah,
this deep metaphysical, and it's not that deep, but it doesn't get talked about sometimes
I
enough.
know. Thank you. Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you. This has been a pleasure. I'm so glad we stepped over that fence together.
Yeah, me too.
All right.
Me too. All right. Thank you everybody for watching.
Bye.
Love.